The main driver for the future growth is a $908 billion relief package. They are trying to buy gold at the current price, considering it pretty attractive in case of a new stock collapse. High volatility in Bitcoin. On December 1st, the price was $80 away from $20,000. Welcome to the Coin Post. The rise of gold, oil and the euro to 1.22 per dollar, and everything that happened recently, we're gonna sort out today in our video. While waiting for a new fiscal stimulus and vaccines to be given soon, there is a new high in the US stock market on the table. The upward trend in gold and oil is back. So why are they rising and how long could it last? And we'll also talk about Bitcoin that keeps doing the roller coaster. But before we start, I'd like to thank all the viewers and a special thank you to those who help promote our channel with their engagement. Let's start! We're starting with the stock market, which continues to hit records. The main driver for the future growth is a $908 billion relief package, which can be accepted as early as next week. It's a compromise really, as the Democrats wanted a lot more, but it was backed up by Joe Biden, who considers the money as the first emergency tranche. And then he's planning to provide additional funding when the president takes office. I told you about it in my previous video, although at that time there was no $908 billion support for this project from Biden and the other Democratic Party leaders. To find out the other factors that would help S&P 500 break through the 3,700 mark even before New Year's Eve, check out the video. There you will find how the presidential election will end and how mass vaccination will affect the markets. As for the vaccine, I would like to add something important. Pfizer is going to make only 50 million doses of vaccines in December, instead of 100 million doses that were promised. It means the immunization rate will not be as high as expected. But what's more interesting is the news about Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, which gives at least 3 months of immunity. If this information proves to be reliable and it turns out that to protect against COVID-19 you would have to vaccinate 4 times a year, I can just imagine how thrilled the producers will be, unlike the people who will have to do it. Share in the comments whether you are ready to make injections 4 times a year. And while you're thinking of the answer, have a look at the Carnival Corporation and PLC stock price that's been rising in the past month, as if investors knew something and the pandemic would disappear just after New Year's Eve. What came as a complete surprise to me was that gold rose $77 at once, or more than 4% in recent days. Besides, in November, gold was clearly an outsider among other financial assets. But because the market always does things in its own way, now the price is rising steadily. What helped the precious metal was the dollar, which because of the Fed's claims of new incentives and its willingness to continue printing dollars, dropped sharply. So the dollar index lost more than 1.5% in a week. The dollar lost roughly as much against the euro, which rate is now at the level of the spring of 2018. Interestingly, the stock market is now into risky assets, and the demand for gold should not be that high. But apparently not everyone shares that optimism, so they are trying to buy gold at the current price, considering it pretty attractive in case of a new stock collapse. If you like financial results presented this way, give us a thumbs up please. And I'm moving on to the second half of the video. As for the oil, a beautiful upward trend continues with a target of up to $50 per barrel. The main trigger, of course, was the COVID-19 vaccine and the sacred belief that very soon life will get back to normal. But investors also take into account China's rise, if no one's messing with statistics, and improvements in Europe. As for the main event on the black gold market this week, it's the OPEC+. Initially, the Saudis wanted to give up the oil production increase. However, Russia and a number of other countries opposed such a decision. The meeting was rescheduled, and on December 3rd, they came to a compromise solution. Starting from January 1st, 2021, oil production will increase by 500,000 barrels per day. And every month thereafter, OPEC+ representatives are gonna gather and decide whether to keep the current level of production or to increase it slightly. Obviously, the Saudis' option would have been much better for the market and the price could have gone up even faster. But the markets are pleased that the worst did not happen and the deal wasn't broken. I mean, there were such concerns because the effectiveness of this format is very much in question if you look not at the price chart, but at the real profits from oil sales. In Russia and Saudi Arabia, things are not going well with that. The more people we have on our channel, the more content I can make. So subscribe and hit the bell. And I'm moving into the final question, which is the price of Bitcoin. My prediction that came true was high volatility in Bitcoin. On December 1st, the price was $80 away from $20,000, after which it dropped to $18,000, went up to $19,600, and is now traded at $19K. What's happening now is what we talked about earlier. Bitcoin can't just jump to the next level to never go back to $20K. During the last cycle, it couldn't break through a similar $1,100 upper limit from the first attempt. It was accompanied by high volatility, and the price would rise and fall several times. The fact that it's not the Bitcoin high yet is also reflected in altcoins. They stopped rising and are waiting to take the next step, so XRP keeps close to 60 cents. Ethereum, though it launched Phase 0 version 2.0, is traded just below $600. And my personal benchmark for the market, Litecoin, is trying to keep above $80. In general, Bitcoin still follows the scenario when, before breaking through $20,000, we will first go into a correction. But in fact, there is another possibility when Bitcoin exceeds the price of $20K, and only then will it be corrected. I mean, the way they were buying Bitcoin this week shows that the bulls are still quite strong and don't intend to take a break before the main goal is achieved. Well, this was it about the past financial week. Share in the comments what you remembered about it personally. And I'd like to thank all of you for supporting the channel with your likes and shares. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. It's the Coin Post channel. Subscribe and get enlightened.